Hello everyone, welcome to my review of Split. Split is directed by M. Night Shyamalan, starring James McAvoy, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Betty Buckley. This film is about a man who captures three teenage girls and holds them captive for a specific reason. But since I don't want to reveal really any of the plot whatsoever, I won't go into the reasons why. I'm sure many of you are familiar with M. Night Shyamalan. He arrived on the scene in the late 90s, early 2000s with films like Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs, The Village, and then his career started to take a more downward turn. He did films like Lady in the Water, The Happening, The Last Airbender, and then he kind of went away for a little while. And his career is now kind of having a bit of a resurgence. Last year he came out with a film called The Visit, and now with Split he is really back to his old ways. He's back to doing films rather similar to what got him started in his career. This film is M. Night going back to his roots. And it was really great to see him pull off a really good film, in my opinion. This film really does a good job of keeping you engaged, keeping the mystery really at bay throughout the film so that you are kind of more and more drawn into it. You want to find out what is happening, and M. Night does a fantastic job of slowly revealing the mystery over the course of this film. He doesn't give you all of it at once, he gives you piece by piece so that you can start putting things together for yourself. It's a film that's very kind of slow moving, but I felt it to be ultimately satisfying by the end. I have always felt that M. Night Shyamalan has kind of had a kinship with Hitchcock films. He really likes to use suspense and kind of twists and kind of plot building similar to the way Hitchcock did, and I feel like that can be said with this film. Also, the cinematography in this film is fantastic. It is done by Mike Goulakis, who also did the cinematography work on the film It Follows, which had a wonderful look to it. When it comes to Split, the lighting, the camera work, the camera movement is all fantastic. The film is set mostly in a very confined space, and you feel that in every shot. Also, I found the film to be extremely well acted. I will say this, James McAvoy I think is a fine actor. I've been a big fan of his for years. I think he's very much an underrated actor, and in this film I think he gives one of his greatest performances in his career. He is playing a character who has dissociative identity disorder, which is kind of just fancy talk for multiple personality. James McAvoy is able to give such unique performances for each of these characters. You feel like they are uniquely their own, and that is really a full testament to his acting ability. The main character in this film, or our protagonist, is portrayed by Anya Taylor-Joy, who was in one of my favorite films from last year, and that is The Witch. I'm really glad to see that she's getting more roles and more exposure because I think she's very much a rising star. And since the film is really mostly from her perspective and it's very much her story, she really kind of has to carry the film, along with James McAvoy, of course. She and him have a very great on-screen repartee with one another. Also, there is something at the very end of this film. I won't say anything because I don't want to spoil it at all, but I'll just say I liked it a lot, and I think people who understand its implication will also like it as well. But with all the positives aside, there is a few negative aspects to the film. One of them being the therapist character portrayed by Betty Buckley, who I felt to be just kind of there to deliver exposition to us, kind of telling us about the James McAvoy character and his dissociative identity disorder, and really at one point kind of just directly into the camera telling us exactly everything we need to know about his character. I found that to be kind of an easy, almost plot device, and it really kind of took away from the film for me. Also, for someone who is supposed to be adept at reading someone's character or things of that nature when you're a therapist, I really found her to be not very good at that. You would think that someone with James McAvoy's character's condition would be someone you would want to watch out for, someone who could possibly be dangerous to the public. Like I said, the film has a very intriguing mystery within it, but I didn't feel like the film really delved into the mystery enough. I felt like it was holding back a lot of the mystery, a lot of the backstory, a lot of the more interesting aspects of the James McAvoy character that we did get a few glimpses of, but I felt like there's so much more information we could know about him. Perhaps they're holding that back for a sequel? That obviously remains to be seen. Also, the two other girls that were captured along with Anya Taylor-Joy's character are kind of just plot devices. Their acting isn't too great, they're kind of cringeworthy sometimes. Also, kind of a negative aspect to the film. Like I said, don't go into this film thinking it's going to be a horror story, thinking you're going to get typical horror tropes, maybe some horror gore in there. Like I said, it's more psychological, it's more suspenseful, it's more mysterious than that. Also, it is rated PG-13, so it does hold back when it comes to, I guess, more graphic nature that you would kind of expect with a plot like this, but I don't think that really hinders the film too much. But with all that being said, I'm going to give this film a 3.85 out of 5 stars. So I would definitely recommend checking this film out if you are a fan of M. Night Shyamalan, and if you're a fan of psychological thrillers in general. This has been my review of Split, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. If you like this video, please check out my other movie reviews, as well as the other videos on my channel.